And she said, I did the research, I managed to get contact with a good oncologist, which is, from the stories we've heard, it's difficult to find. And she just said, like, she'd go back and forward all the time, she'd try something, but she had belief. And then the knowing, and me and James always talk about this, knowing is once you hit a knowing, you're unstoppable. It's down to you. Every decision you make is because you know what you need to do. And she just said it, and me and James were just like, just a really vivid dream. I'm not sure if you've had a dream where you woke up, but it stayed with you all day. Like, I've been trying to process it, trying to understand it. I felt it, like really, really felt it yesterday. And yeah, it's been really interesting. Every single day I'm having a really vivid dream, but I'm in it for a long time. And yes, I honestly think it's something to do with being next to the ocean. And just to kind of give that pathway, that journey, just so people can start relating to their own lives. Because we've got countless examples, which I'd love to go into a bit later on as well, just to make people aware of it. Because what I love about words and the way that we speak, that directly affects us. Above anything else, we are always in control of the words that come out of our mouth.
Have I damaged them? Definitely. With the words I use, with don't do that, you shouldn't do that. There's so many other words we can use that don't evoke negative energy when you deal them out, when you dish them out. It's really important, the words we use, but it goes deeper than that, because the words we use are triggered from something even deeper. Hi Pam. Which is your mind, which is your ego, the egotistical self-doubt. And that's what your ego is all about. Your ego is there until, actually, your ego's there until you acknowledge it and you get to know your ego, because it's a really interesting journey which changes your speech pattern.
This is the scary thing, is that we don't know what's going inside our body, but yet someone else has told us. And we're making decisions without having enough information to actually be confident enough with that decision. And this is the sharing comes as well, because now, and again, you can use the example of this family that you've been working with. You've shared so much experience where they're like, oh my God, that's exactly what happened. And they're going to talk to you like this, and then they're going to do this, and whatever else has happened at the moment. It's horrible when we're hearing it, but yet we've been through it so many times now that we're preparing people with information, so again, they can make an informed decision.
Many people around the world right now are suffering from blood clots from these vaccines. And so she took the first one, that happened. Do you know what as well? She was told, you need to take your second shot to counteract what the first one's done. Can you believe that, bro? By a doctor. You need to take the second one to counteract. But that is completely against what is actually going on currently. They're actually telling people, be wary of the blood clots. And if you have a reaction to the first one, don't have the second one. So again, I'm not saying that every doctor's saying this, but it just shows you how from one doctor professional opinion to the next, it differs about this stuff so much.
Is when you stop panicking. And when I mean panicking, I mean submissively giving up what you inherently have inside, which is knowledge. We've got knowledge. When you are sick, what do you know you should do? I should rest. I should drink more water. I should eat better. I should protect my energy. We tell that to our kids. My kids get sick, I know exactly what to do. Put them in bed a bit earlier, talk to them, cuddle them a bit more, give them a bit more love. And guess what happens? They start getting better. But then what happens when we get older? We get sick and we go to someone else to say, you've got this, and you go, okay, I've got this then. Think about that for a minute.
Now, when you go, just do it once. Just then, like just that one breath. Do it once and feel the difference. Feel the difference to what that does to your well-being. Now, can you imagine that when you're getting in that state, that panic, that, oh my God, that anxious state, because anxiety is horrible. Anxiety is awful, and it triggers these egotistical triggered reactions in our body, not
Your body doesn't even think, it's literally just sending everything it needs to go and fix that cut. Your heart, it beats all the time. It just beats. Like your body's doing that to keep you alive. You breathe, you do all these things without even thinking about it. And what happens is that we get so dependent on the body doing things without us thinking about it, that when something goes wrong, we're like, oh, it's not working. But what we can do, and this is where, again, we share information, we're in control of every part of our body. And if we took the attention to understand, again, we're not educated on it. James mentioned that system, the endocannabinoid system. It's not taught to you in anywhere. Like, I'm from the fitness industry and I've gone deep into biology. We spoke to a number of scientists, never heard of it before. And if you understood just what that system did, then you understand why they must be hiding it from us. Because if you knew that you could into every part of your body and you could instruct it, you can give it love, you can command, which takes time, you'll be able to make these big significant changes.
I no longer, thanks for the people we've worked with, I no longer have any fear of death whatsoever. And when that time comes, I'm going to be prepared for it in regards to mentally and spiritually knowing, okay, all right, this is the next step and this is what's going to happen next. And I'm not religious and Harry's not religious. We've got nothing against religion. However, and the beauty is, for me, like I say, I mean, we can back this up with science, and mainstream science these days, if you start looking into it, I'm not referring to the free stuff that you get, not knocking them, but free medical governing bodies like the NHS, you're not going to get the information that is really, 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 truly going to help your current situation. Well over 10 years of literal, actual experiential knowledge with working with people, with natural medicine, with this system. So when we launched into just to what we do, excited as we were as our two kids bouncing around, this woman just sat there, didn't she? Literally like, oh! So we went through everything, and all she could say was just how, and again, I'm not saying this for plaudits, but it is nice to hear when people say, oh, it's amazing your knowledge, blah, blah, but it was what she dropped right at the end, which you can tell them. What did she tell us?
Just her story in terms of, she was told that she was going to die. She, at that moment, was like, I need some space, took 3 days out for herself and made that commitment. It's like, I'm gonna find out what I need to find out to make sure I live.